Hello and welcome to the Bel-E and Scratch podcast. I'm your host, Bel-E.
And I'm your co-host, Scratch.
And today, I've got an update.
Glad you got some kind of date. I don't have any dates.
I heard that. Don't try to backpedal on me. Anyway, an update on the guy who just for some reason wants to starve himself into the ground.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Because here's the thing. I don't really...
I hate myself.
Yeah,
until I die.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not much of an update. I just led with that because it was something small. It was, it's only been a week.
So what is he up to now?
He's 43 pounds from whatever weight goal.
What is it, 3 weeks he's been doing it?
Let's see. As of this recording, it's 24, so 24 days without.
24 days. Wow.
Yeah,
And he's down 43 pounds?
No, he's 43 pounds. No, he needs to lose another 43 pounds.
Well, what's he down from?
I don't know because I was too afraid to ask. But let me just assure you, it's more than 40.
Really?
If I've heard my boss grumbling and mumbling because she is pissed, she's pissed in a way that I have not seen.
Oh, okay.
On any.
She's upset because
she knows he's going to die. And there is not one thing.
But then again, maybe he's going to drop this weight his way.
His way. And then he'll leave.
He'll be back.
I don't know. I don't know if she'll let him come back. That's the other thing. No.
He's already paid up. So.
He's already paid up. If it was
he
me,
drops dead inside the building.
Yeah, that's what my biggest concern is. He just drops dead right in front of her, and she loses her mind.
She will.
Yeah. Because never in her, she is professed it quite well. She has never had to call 911 at any point in her trainer career. And you know what?
That sounds like a positive thing.
Yeah, it does. But here's the thing: it's like getting a car wreck. If you've never had a car wreck, your chances of it go up by the day.
Yes, that is true.
However infinitesimally small that percentage goes up, but it's going up, and sooner or later, you're going to hit that jackpot.
Well, I mean,
I think somewhere in her, you understand what I mean by that?
Right.
Subconsciously, folks. Somewhere in her, she understands that principle that I just told you, and she might be getting worried that she's about to hit that jackpot.
Well, he's goodness. I mean, there's no guarantee that he'll hit that wall. Or the floor.
I don't know.
Or the floor.
All I know is
in the gym.
All I know is that I think you are correct in in your observation last week of this is less of him being egotistical and I'm a man, I can do it, and more of like a masochistic hating yourself death drive almost.
Well, I mean,
because in my mind, I cannot see someone's ego so great that they would drive themselves to die. Isn't the point of having a large ego is to live a long life where you can have that big ego? Does that not make sense?
That's exactly what I put about the election of Orange Man, Cheeto Man.
Yeah.
I was like, they were like, he's an egomaniac. And I'm like, okay. Well, you can use that.
Sure, you can say that, and it could be true.
And
probably.
And you can get things done because he wants to set himself up as the next Jesus.
Sure.
So let him do it.
So let him do it.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
If you're willing to pay the price and your ego is that large and and your discipline that strong,
then sure.
Yeah. Sure, why not?
But you understand what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
I just can't see ego causing someone unless it's. I don't mean hubris. I don't mean hubris per se.
There comes a point after an extended period of time, where pure ego, pure will
dissolve.
No, well, sort of. It'll hit a wall. You'll be like, well, this really. The thing about fasting is, it'll clean all the junk out.
That's what I mean.
And sooner or later, if what you want to do is really superficial, if your motive is really superficial, it'll burn that out.
Yes,
that's why you have. That's why you have these survivor shows. Like one of my favorites is the show Alone, where they'll set somebody out in the middle of the woods, and they have X number of days. They know they're going to starve. To a point, they know they're going to lose 30% of their body weight. They know they are out there, and it could take their life, but they're doing it for like $500,000 or $1 million or something like that. And then you see people that are very skilled at being survivalists. And quite a number of people that, were my early favorites in these shows. You'll watch them after a while, and then next thing you know, you're looking at them, and based on paper, okay, you take down the list. Here's the pros, here's the cons, and they have so much more pros.
Basically,
than cons.
make a betting pool of who could outlast the rest.
Well, I mean, just a list of criteria.
Do some prob and stat.
You know how to do exactly prob and stat. You can do this, you can do that, you can do this, and you can do that, and you see them, and you're like, wow, man, you're a shoo-in. And then they are, usually your strongest people are the ones that are the first to go. Because they get to a point where they realize that, and of course everybody that gets involved, this money sure would help my family. And we'd have so much more time with my family. And I'm not mocking that motive. I'm just saying that it's you see it regularly. And then next thing you know, they're making the phone call on the satellite phone, tapping out. Because they get to a point where they realize that it's ego that got them where they are. And they
don't have a true purpose for being there other than serving the ego.
Serving ego. And then they're usually the ones to drive. I mean, and I don't fault them. I don't have a negative connotation or anything like that. But then they realize them as
it's an ego.
It's an ego thing.
That
won't hold you there.
No, that's why that's what I thought.
That's it might get you there, but it won't hold you there.
That's what I thought this was before. I thought it was driven by the ego,
Right.
Because, it's day 24, and I thought he'd tap out at least by...
24?
Yeah. Man, 12, day 12, maybe day 17, perhaps. But 24...
Has he ever done anything like this before?
Hell if I know. He's not my client. Thank God.
Like I say, I mean, my father used to fast one day a week. Every now and then he would do occasionally. There was very dire circumstances in our life. He would do 3 days seeking an answer over something. I used to do 7 days a week. And it was purely ego. It was purely ego. It was like, hey, I need to fast for a couple of days. I saw it happen in front of me, so it was a concept that was easy for me to grasp. Excuse me. But then it was pure ego that was like, you know what? My dad could fast for 3 days in a row, and so I think I can do a week. Okay, it was pure ego.
I understand.
That drove me. It's so weird now looking back on it. I mean, I felt like I was strong to have that mental discipline. And I didn't mean to work it into conversations, but I would. People were like, "You okay, man?" "Yeah, I'm pretty good." "Yeah, I'm just fasting." "Oh, yeah, how long have you been fasting?" "Oh, about 5 days." They're like, "Oh, my God, you haven't eaten anything about it?" And they start talking to me like I'm Superman. Mm-hmm. Oh, and I just ate it up. You get to a point where if you're ego-driven, that it does have its place in our lives.
Yeah.
But it shouldn't dominate you. And if this individual is going to, man, 20 plus days is tough. It's tough. Oh my God,
he looks
so tough.
gray. He looks very gray.
The only, in today, it's not like, and I read, I don't want to get into the specific example that I would use to talk about an extended fast per se right now. But what I'm saying in today's, today,
sure.
You can eat 24 hours a day.
Yes, this is very true.
All right. There's so much food around. I personally, I think that's part of what's going on with the globe right now. Some people call it the Great Reset. Mm-hmm. It's either people are doing it on purpose. The powers that be are doing it on purpose. It's a reset. If they're not doing it on purpose, then it's a hiccup. Who knows?
Sure.
But
either way,
part of it is to get people to consume less.
Here's the thing. Yeah. I know I do argue against the powers that be, especially Big Pharma.
Oh my God, Big Pharma has such control over it.
Yeah. You see what I mean? Like, that's the one thing where it's like, that's the line I draw. No Big Pharma, okay? Anything else we could probably have a civil discussion about? No Big Pharma.
No Big Pharma.
So that's my line.
Yeah, if you got a problem with big oil, you're not paying attention. You need to pay attention to Big Pharma.
Big Pharma, yeah. I'm not saying there's anything wrong against not being for big oil.
It's crazy.
That's also not a good direction. Big Pharma.
Big Pharma.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, all the tree huggers need to be anti-Big Pharma.
Everybody needs to be anti-Big Pharma.
Yeah.
I think that's common ground, and both sides of the fence can agree on.
Indeed. So, remind me of my point.
This guy's 20. How many days? 20.
Oh yeah. Okay, he's gray. He's 43 pounds from his weight goal.
How old is he?
50s, really? Somewhere in there. 50s. Yeah, he's got white hair, but he's not that old. He's definitely a computer programmer.
Okay.
So he's 43 pounds away from his target goal weight, whatever that
43?
is. 43?
Does he look overweight when he walks in now?
Yeah.
Oh, he still looks overweight.
He still looks overweight when he walks in. No, he's not trying to get rail skinny. He's trying to get the fat off of him. Like, say he was about as big as you, and he would just starve all that off. That's where he started. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So, no, he started really, really overweight. But it's gonna eat up his muscle too, and then he'll get the
I have a theory
mud hole stomped in him.
People sometimes strength of will, strength of will, mental discipline, sometimes is gained from a traumatic event in your childhood. Mm-hmm. Because it's so out of bounds and horrific that it actually, for you actually to exist, continue to exist and be functional, it takes a tremendous amount of mental energy to compartmentalize it.
Yes.
And continue to try to be a...
and that's also what therapy is for.
That is what therapy is for.
Yeah.
So, people can develop this really hardcore self-discipline based on those types of events.
Sure.
And it's just hard for me to see someone like that. And yes, it's my opinion. Yes, it's my observation. Yes, I don't know what I'm talking about with this individual specifically. It could be, I just have a hard time looking at something like that type of situation, and believing that there is a functional reason that is the foundation of what they're doing.
I agree with that assumption.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes. I agree.
That something has happened to them in the past that gives them. It's like you being Deadpool. How did he become a superhero? He was he was exposed to conditions.
Yeah.
That were so horrific.
Yeah.
That it caused. I mean, it's such a.
Yeah, it's called torture.
Yeah. That it caused whatever it was about him to come out.
Yeah, that mutagen thing. Yeah.
I think that's a nice
metaphor
for
trauma,
anecdote.
Yeah,
it's this type of trauma that actually.
Yeah, it is.
You can allow
a trauma metaphor is a metaphor for an actual trauma metaphor. Is that where we're at now?
You can allow it.
Is this where we're at now?
You can allow it to destroy you, or you can allow it to strengthen you.
I get it.
And
I guess in this case, it's both. The instance of this guy I'm talking about, it's both.
And hey, we do have our mentally and physically, our bodies don't understand recreational weight loss.
No,
that is why people can't lose weight.
I think, and I also think that's part of what started this. Now that I think about it,
yeah.
Because here's the thing: you and I know that story about the guy who was you told me he won like 8 Mr. Olympias, like outdid Schwarzenegger. That story where before that hit,
yeah.
He was only coming in 2nd or 3rd place in these bodybuilding competitions.
Right.
And some really old bodybuilder came up to him and say, hey, night before you go to place or go to compete, drink like so much vodka the night before.
What he did was he said, you're too disciplined.
Yeah.
Okay, it is a normal perspective for us as human beings to think. It's just like I want to be the fastest person alive, so I'm going to run every day. I'm going to train every day.
Yeah.
Okay, I've been there because I was like, I remember when I got my curl bar for Christmas. When I was like 16 or 17.
Yeah.
I was like, I worked out of my arms every day, and I was like, God damn it, I'm but and then everything started to get smaller, and I didn't understand overtraining.
Yeah.
I didn't understand how important rest was.
Yes.
Actually, honestly and truly, rest is more important than training.
It is very.
Okay. When you slam your body a certain way, you don't. If you don't give adequate time to recover.
Yep.
I mean, it's not just lifting weights. Even in yoga, there's a lot of yoga that once you do a strenuous yoga, me, we always keep, we're as human beings, we always keep ourselves on some kind of schedule. So, it's like, okay, I got an hour to do yoga, so I'll do yoga for an hour. And then pop up as soon as the session's over and go do something else. When technically you should stay there.
Yeah, you should
allow your body to recover.
Yeah, to rest.
From what you just did.
Yeah.
For an extended
couple minutes.
Well, I mean more than just 2 or 3 seconds before you just plop up and go about.
No, I get it.
So. What this bodybuilder learned, and his name is Ronnie Coleman.
Thank you.
Yeah, this bodybuilder, the older bodybuilder, more wiser, that was competing against him, didn't tell him specifically what to go do.
Okay.
He just basically said, you know what, you're dieting too tight.
Yeah.
You're not getting your body what it needs, and basically, this is what happened. And this is such an interesting human dynamic.
Sure.
It's like when you're so focused on something. There is the letter and there is the spirit. So when you're so focused on something, that's the letter.
Sure.
And when you allow yourself to relax, that's the spirit.
Yes.
He basically gave into the spirit of what he was doing.
Okay.
In other words, he went back to his room and he was like, and see his initial.
He heard the words, the diet, you're too disciplined, you're not giving your body what it needs. Basically, the diet is too tight. And from that, he basically took a leap of faith.
He took a leap of faith.
In drinking however much.
Well, it's a different kind of leap of faith. He basically went, you know what? I'm only going to play second or third.
Might as well.
I haven't had a pizza in God knows how long.
And he
went into his room and he ate an entire pizza and drank a bottle of vodka out of the mini bar or whatever in his hotel room. And woke up the next day and his body responded.
Yeah, apparently immediately.
Immediately overnight. And that was the first contest that he won.
Yeah.
He went on to win the Olympia.
Basically, 8 times. So, yeah, exactly. So, I remember you telling me this. Yeah. And I understand that. Right. As a trainer. Okay. I understand that if somebody was training really hard, sticking to the diet very tight, no cheating, nothing else, Right. That, and if they were just hitting a plateau, then it would be time to shake up the diet, basically. And this guy was doing the diet and working out 2-3 days a week already. Right. But he was hitting a wall, and his meals got increased 4 or 5 meals a day, still was hitting that wall. He then replaced his carbs with 1 or 2 donuts in the meals. Yeah. And the weight just dropped off of him like crazy. Yeah. It broke through the plateau. Right. So, and here's the thing. This guy is not naively doing it. He's not suicidal. This guy is a dickhead, all right? I want to make that abundantly clear. If I had not done so already, this guy is a grade A dickhead. He is the guy who does not shut up, who is also a contrarian, disagrees for the sake of disagreeing. Okay. Hence why I thought this was an ego-driven thing before, because he did shit like that. You would just be talking to him, and he'd ask you a question, or get a comment on something. You would present your opinion or the answer and he'd just do the whole, well, actually, da-da-da-da-da, yeah.
What? What, he'd draw something out of you and stomp all over?
Yeah.
Oh.
See what I mean? Yeah. So don't feel bad.
Oh, no, I don't.
I'm just telling you that.
He's an adult.
Yes, I know he's very capable.
He paid to be there.
He did, in fact, pay to be there.
It's not like you guys drove the big black van.
Yeah, exactly.
And then drug him in and took him off to somewhere.
No, I get it.
No, he showed up.
I get it.
And it was on free will.
I know. So here's the thing. I understood that principle. Right. If you play fast and loose with your diet, if you're just if your diet is already super clean, playing fast and loose for a meal or two will break you through, but you can't do it super often. And my boss, his trainer, went off on him, just exploded on him when he told her that. Because she's in the letter of the law. Right. If it's not on the piece of paper that we give you and go over when you sign up for training, you cannot eat it.
Right.
And
these are the rules.
Yeah, these are the rules.
God damn it.
These are the rules.
These are the rules.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So instead of entertaining the idea that Now, granted, this guy already was just being a contrarian, so this is a weird thing that started, because on the one hand, this guy is just going to do whatever the fuck he's going to do, and you can't stop him. But on the other hand, he did something that worked, legitimately got him through a plateau, but she would not hear any of it because, on the one hand, she's of the letter of the law, and two, her agreeing with him would placate to his ego even further. So how this whole thing got started...
She's not going to give him that position.
She's not going to give him that anyway. Yeah. So this whole thing started from some weird, complicated fuck-up on both parties.
You know, it might be an ego thing. It might be
somebody.
It might be him battling her.
Maybe.
How many days a week is he working out?
Like 2 or 3. Really? Depends on his work schedule, but it's usually 2 to 3.
Hey, you know, if it takes a foil to get you to do what you need to do.
No, I have often classified... for the people that come in when both of those guys are training, I've told them, like, look, just chill. It's not concerning you. I have described it as an unstoppable force meeting an immovable object. Their interactions with each other is the best way.
Is it like this every time he shows up?
Oh, Jesus Christ, every fucking time.
Oh, well, you got a Batman and Joker thing going.
Yes, I have. And the best part is I get to watch it with one of my clients, who is this old Southern belle from Georgia, who was married to a guy just like him. That's so awesome. She's seeing some sort of weird, time flashback bullshit interaction between her or between this guy and my boss, his trainer. I'm like, oh Jesus! So she gets to relive the melodrama.
It might be now. Obviously, there is a death wish in there somewhere, but it might
somewhere
it might still be an ego thing. He might be battling her.
I don't know what's happening.
And him paying her forces her to sit as his audience.
Exactly.
Oh, man.
What? Yeah, exactly. This is some David Cronenberg, fucking Luc Besson, is it David Cronenberg, Luc Besson, a little bit of Luc Besson. This is some, whoever the hell wrote Jacob's Ladder, this is some Jacob's Ladder level of twisted absurdity.
It's definitely absurd.
This is, it's a farce at this point, because it's just so layered. There is so much going on here at one time, and I have to believe.
Let me ask you a question.
Yes.
When he's not there, does your boss bring him up?
If it comes up.
But in other words,
she doesn't lead the conversation with it.
Right, but you don't bring it up. She interjects it.
Yes.
Is he single?
Yes, but no, she's got a boyfriend. This ain't it.
Don't matter.
No. You got to remember who she used to be married to.
No, I get that.
She's
I'm
not.
I'm talking about his motive, not her motive.
Oh. Okay. Yeah, he is. He can't figure out why.
He wants to feel like he's the greatest at something. He's the best at something.
He's the best at about to die.
Well,
look,
I love you so much, I'd die. I would die.
I'm just saying.
Cheap words.
I'm just saying that I have seen people starve themselves for greater reasons. I have seen people starve themselves for lesser reasons. I'm just saying.
It's an interesting dynamic.
Yeah.
It really is.
And, Jesus Christ, as much as I can expound upon it, and I can, because I think right now it's just going to be, the update's just going to be, oh, he's gray. Oh, my boss is angry. So until something major develops, I'm going to table this, put this on the back burner. We are coming back to it, but I refuse to give this dickhead more time in my brain. I just wanted to get it out.
I understand.
Just want to
catharsis
that bitch out.
It's definitely a lot more.
I'd rather do the. I would rather do.
Complicated is not the word.
Sure. Complex.
Complex.
Yes, this is just a very complex situation, and I'm thinking it's probably best we do a complete psychological forensic overview at the end of this event.
We talk about human observation.
Yes,
and this
is an extreme situation. Although I'd rather give the pseudo psychological autopsy at the end of the event
after we bury him.
Yes, if that's what it takes. But the reason why is just because the next time I see,
a good old soul.
Yeah. No, I'm just. It's all right. We're moving on.
Okay,
we're moving on.
Okay.
All right.
Just one thing. It's not really him. You're just learning from the interaction between him and your boss.
Yes. No, I'm just observing what happens between those two and deducting some reasonings behind it.
Right.
Yes, I'm making a lot of assumptions.
Yeah,
but here's the thing. I'm not trying to blow this up any bigger than it already is.
No.
The man is gray. Do you hear me, people? The man is gray. Cement gray. Getting darker. And I don't know what that means because I'm not a nurse.
Okay, if he turns green, let me know.
Oh, I know. I know.
If he gets a green or a yellow.
Oh, I know. I know the green. Skin. I know green and yellow. I don't know what gray is because I've never seen gray. Yeah. So anyway. No, I have to fully believe I was meant to work there as a trainer because this is so complex and so deeply woven into really, some sort of weird battle of the egos between two people. Neither one of them at some point she keeps hemming and hawing about wanting to just cut it loose, but she just doesn't.
Right.
And I have to believe
she's right and he's not, goddammit.
Yeah, exactly. But the thing is, I have to assume I was meant to work there as a trainer because I had to be meant to have seen this.
Yeah, there's something.
I'm the only. It's me.
There is something you can glean from it.
Yeah, there has to be because there's no other trainers.
Yeah.
Like, they had to drop out because of life stuff or because of their own personal work stuff. It's me and her running that joint.
You're just...
I have to assume I was meant to see this interaction.
Well, I mean, you are working in an interesting field. What I did for so long as a registered nurse working in ER and trauma, I saw people who were usually accidentally involved in situations that they did not seek.
Sure.
And it shows who people are.
Yeah.
You are interacting with people who are choosing their circumstance.
Yes.
And revealing who they are. It's all very interesting.
I understand that. I get it. So anyway.
And you get to bounce it off of whatever your boss is.
Pretty much. So.
And she's never come across anything like this before?
No.
Really?
No, she hasn't. No, she's often when it is brought up, she'll say, when I die, I'm going to go before God on his throne and ask him, why did he send me as a client? Many times.
She verbalized that?
Yes.
Oh, for crying out loud.
Yes. That's when I knew it was...
What it's about.
Yeah, I know that. No. I'm not trying to say it's...
learn something.
I'm telling you. That's the thing. I know. That's the other problem is I know. Because I can can see it as plain as day. Don't do this. At the end of the day, in my opinion, you meet someone and you just, like, for either, like, momentarily or an extended period of time, if someone has been placed or placed themselves in your path, and usually the connotation is negative.
Yeah.
I like to say the first thing you should think of is, okay, don't do this, or I learned from this. Right. You know?
Well, I mean, it basically gets broken down, and I've said this to you. Are you a part of their story?
Yeah.
Or are they a part of your story?
That's kind of it feels like it's a clash of two people wanting each other to be in their story rather than vice versa or whatever. If I said that weird.
No, you got it.
And I'm looking at this going, I don't know. Like I said, I must be meant to see this interaction.
There is something for you to learn to glean.
Because I can't think of any other circumstances where I could easily see it. Does that make sense?
Yes. How else are you going to run into that?
Uh-huh.
Okay. It doesn't have anything to do. What the greatest thing about dealing with the human element is it doesn't matter the situation. It really doesn't.
This is true.
Working out in a gym. Me, it was an ER trauma situation. People are people. The dynamics related to people, what motivates people, including myself.
Yes.
It's easy for me to stand back and to talk about things in a manner that gives me a certain amount of outside security. But actually, it's all about the human element, which is what we're all involved in.
Because we are all human.
And
don't know about certain people, helps, but you know,
it helps. And what this is what I had to start doing. I had to start because the alternative was to follow a very negative path, and that is to, when you run into these things, how can these situations teach us something about ourselves?
That's the weird thing. I usually think that, but I don't know how or why. Well, when I was younger.
Yeah.
Actually, in college mostly, because in high school I was just trying not to be a sociopath. Let's just face that fact. To try to move the topic, because I'm giving this dickhead enough of a platform.
You're an asshole crazy. You have no idea.
Yeah, you have no idea, bro. No, if I ever get an invitation to my, I don't know if or when it would be my class high school reunion, if I were to get that invitation, I would just come in and say, I'm sorry. I was incredibly out of line.
Ditto.
For about 75, if not 80% of my period in high school with all of you.
Yeah.
I have gone to therapy. I have read some books.
Yep.
I found out I answered a lot of questions about myself.
Right.
And I'm sorry.
I would just tell people, hey, imagine a pot of boiling water, a big, big pot on the stove of boiling,
and it's got a lid on it.
And it's got a lid on it.
But you can see it starting to
jumping around.
Yeah, you see the lid jumping. That was me.
That was me.
Yeah.
All the time. Every time you laid eyes on me, that was me.
It.
That was that lid bouncing around, just trying to keep it
puberty is a bitch.
Oh my God.
Yeah, puberty's a bitch.
It was brutal.
Yeah, no. No, the only time I had felt normal, quote unquote normal, and with people who understood was at the damn career center with people that were not from my school.
Yeah.
I did not have one friend from my school at the career center, the digital art and design and all that fun stuff.
Well, I think there's this thing about third-party observation. It's just like people that
there we go.
People that can talk about people that people can't talk about important stuff to their loved ones can go talk
to their friends.
To third-party people who really have no active involvement in your life. Like you can go talk to a barber or a hairdresser
your bartender.
Or dentist or whatever. That's a very interesting human dynamic.
I've actually heard bartending. I've heard bartending compared to like adult daycare. Tell me I'm wrong. You got the face. You got the.
That is not wrong.
Yeah. You got the.
That's a new wrinkle in my brain right there.
You're welcome.
That's not.
It's not incorrect.
That's right. It's not wrong.
It's not wrong, but it's not incorrect. Also,
that is correct. It is not incorrect.
Exactly.
That is interesting. Adult daycare.
Yeah. You know what? I have actually thought about. I had actually had designs at one point to get a bartending license, just because. What the hell was that?
I considered it myself.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's one of those things that's within reach of obtaining. And apparently, there's a large market for it.
And plus, here's the thing. Let's be honest.
But it's
just like the hospital. You'll always have a job. And depending on where you go, you can make a shit ton of money at it too. Just like nursing.
Oh my God.
You're welcome.
Oh, it's true.
You're welcome. Hell,
you'll always have a job.
Yeah.
What does that say about the element of human existence?
Exactly. That's also why I always hear stories about people who become bartenders in places like Ireland, and they treat it like a legitimate profession.
Yeah.
You know, not quite on the level of lawyer. It's not quite on the level of lawyer.
Really?
But definitely more than retail
clerk. Was it like in the top 3?
No, not top 3, but definitely top 25.
Really?
Oh yeah, in Ireland.
Well,
it's a more respected job in Ireland, basically. Not quite blue collar, but not quite white collar. Does that make sense?
You don't remember this because you were probably too young.
That happens a lot.
You might. I don't know. When we were living in California, we went to, quote unquote, an Irish pub.
I think I remember it vaguely. And
it was really interesting because this is what I learned.
Yes.
The pub in Ireland is more of, when I think of a bar,
sure,
then you just go to get some drinks,
yeah,
blah.
Yeah.
But what I didn't realize was that culturally, Ireland, the pub is a town or a family destination.
Yeah.
There were literally
it's not the rough and tumble part of town.
No. It's just where you go. It's where the community gathers.
The Klansmen. On fair game or still game.
Still game. It's where the community gathers, and there were actual. It was like they had. This was so crazy.
Yeah.
For me as a North American, trying to.
Are you trying to broaden your horizons?
I don't know why I'm wired this way. I just get a kick out of trying to understand these cultural things.
Oh, I love that.
It's just my thing.
Yeah, it's why I'm trying to teach myself Korean.
Yeah. And so off to the side here was like a couple of playpens or where the kids would play.
Yeah.
We're in this place, and it's like a restaurant / pub bar kind of thing.
Yeah.
And you and your younger brother, you and bro, we're over here playing with these other kids, and me and the matriarch, we're sitting here, we're eating. Yes, we're having a drink, but it was beyond. There was this element. I mean, I'd hung out in enough quote unquote bars and not really taverns. Dangerous places
that just so happened to be bars.
Yeah. And here we was, and it was like a family bar.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, hey, we were the adults, and everybody else were adults.
Yeah.
And then everybody had their kids, and you included
Yeah.
with bro. We're over here, and you were playing with other kids your age.
Yeah.
And that's when it dawned on me that culturally, the situation with taverns or pubs or whatever in Ireland
is different. Yeah.
It's different.
Vastly different.
It's like, it's like
now, granted,
it reminded me of here in the Southeast in the 1980s on an afternoon Sunday when you go to a meat and two or a meat and three restaurant.
Yeah.
It was just like that, except they had alcohol. And the kids were over here playing. It was so cool. I was just like, what?
You tell me the meat and three veg in town don't have alcohol?
Not unless you consume it before you walk in the door. Around here, maybe it's changed. I'm sure it might be a little bit different now.
Indeed,
but back then,
I don't know.
But we were in this pub in.
It was family friendly.
It was a family friendly.
That's that. Yeah, that's not really something.
I always make that David Buster's joke.
Yeah.
While your kids are playing the machines, you get hammered at the bar.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my God, yes.
But this was a lot more homey.
I'd hope so. I remember playing darts.
It was a beautiful place.
Yeah, I remember playing darts.
A stone building.
Yeah, I remember it was nice.
It was very. It was family. Okay,
yeah.
Normally you don't think about, I'm gonna go out to a bar and get trashed. You don't really think about family.
No.
But no, this was a place where it was family.
I also assume that the people going there with their kids also are not going to get knocked down, blackout drunk as well. So
exactly.
That's the other half of that.
That was the moderation.
They just wanted like maybe 1, 2 drinks, and that was it. Kind of cut loose with the kids or something.
And then go home.
Go home.
Walk home with the kids.
Yeah, or something like that.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It was wonderful. It really was.
Good. I'm glad.
It was very interesting. It helped me understand some things, because they're always. I didn't have any I didn't have any. There was no context for me personally to understand. But that's what they said. They were like, "Hey, bring." They said, "Bring the family." They didn't say, "Bring the kids."
Yeah, they said, "Bring the family."
Bring the family. Sorry, bring the family, and and when you and bro were younger, we didn't make we might have left. We didn't leave you with strangers.
No,
as a rule.
No.
So we were like, "Hey, okay, let's check this out." And when we went in, it was just really interesting. It really was to see. It was more of a family dynamic, and it was just a place where everybody could get something to eat, and the adults could have something to drink, adult beverage. It was really interesting. That's all I'm saying.
I got you. So, alrighty.
When are we going to start doing political stuff?
What? Can we get a better fucking president first?
But
no. My opinion on the current president? We quote unquote elected a corpse. Period.
Okay, I can't argue with that.
Period.
I don't think anybody can argue with that statement.
What do you want from me? Okay, I have to listen.
No, we have to do. We're going to have to do some hard hitting stuff sooner or later.
Yeah, when we have a bigger audience where it carries more weight. No, I don't want people to just dig this thing up.
No, I don't either, and that's what annoys me.
Yeah, I know. So
I'm like, you know what? I just want to talk about what I want to talk about.
I get it. So
well,
there's also the what?
I'm not really interested in talking about current affairs.
I know.
I'm not really interested in talking about politics. I'm really not. What I'm interested in talking about is how these situations and events impact us as
on the ground floor. I can get
beings.
behind. I can agree to that.
I want to discuss the dynamics that go along.
No,
with it.
That's fine.
I'm not here to push any kind of agenda per se. Although I believe
you are opinionated, and so am I.
I believe whatever tackle you were born with is what you are, and any deviation from that is a mental illness or delusional. You got 10 fingers and 10 toes, and nobody's bitching about, I want 8 fingers and 8 toes. So I'm going to go have these extra pieces cut off because they're extra. They're not supposed to be here, but I'm supposed to have 8 fingers and 8 toes and not 10 fingers and 10 toes. So I'm going to go have it. See, there's this weird thing going on. But which is, in my opinion, is a self-hating
in my experience in these matters,
right.
It often appears to me like they were never brought up or taught that they were good enough as they were or are.
I agree with that 100%.
You see, like they were dismissed or abused or, not to be glib about it, just
they were never
which
given.
way. They were never told, hey, you are good enough.
You are good enough as you are. You are strong enough as you are.
Yes. You are loved as you are.
You are loved as you are.
So then something drastic had to change because they were not told that.
Yes. They don't believe that.
Yeah, they don't believe they were special as they are, so they have to change into something
else. Like... there's a particular individual that your brother used to used to wrestle against in high school, and he would always wear a red shirt with white letters that said "Jesus saves."
Mm-hmm.
And I used to tell bro, I was like, don't be intimidated by this guy. And this guy was a 3-time state champion, heavyweight wrestler.
Sure.
I said, this guy, he has to be validated a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, when you look at him, there's a certain strength that you see. What I'm telling you is you're not looking at strength, you're looking at weakness.
Yes.
Because he's got to be validated by doing what he's doing. Okay, and if you see this person as someone who's stronger than you, then you are succumbing to this mind fuck that he's putting out there.
Yeah.
And he doesn't even realize he's doing it.
That's just the nature of what's taking place.
That's just the nature of his presentation.
Sure.
That's what's taking place. Okay. So there's a lot of things people are doing that I think that's a big element that's taking place right now. I think there's a lot of people that are in situations they don't find...
they choose not to be in those situations.
Well, it's like someone who is born with your anatomy.
Mm-hmm.
And then they want to... they say that they more align with someone born with my anatomy.
Sure.
Okay. Well, what I think that is I think that somewhere along the line, and this goes from the person who makes minimum wage all the way up to someone who makes millions of dollars a year, because I've seen it, they don't find true power and true strength in what they are.
They have no inner peace.
They have no inner peace. So it is all they can see is themselves as weak, they see themselves as less.
They were not fed in. They were not told the right words.
They were not told the right words.
They were not raised. They were not brought up in a good spirit. I guess you would say.
That's the way I see it.
That's how I see it.
They see themselves as less, and they see this presentation of something over here where they see themselves as more.
And it could be anything.
They see themselves as more. They see themselves as stronger. If they could become this image over here that they emulate, Cosplay has got a lot to do with that. Look at people that cosplay. They want to see themselves as an icon, superhero, that sort of thing. And some people do it
but here's the thing.
For fun.
Sure. But at some point.
Some people try to live it.
Exactly. Yeah. But exactly. At some point, you have to take the costume back off for the cosplayers.
And if it hurts you or bothers you to take that costume off, I've got to return back to being normal.
Back to me, which they were not, they didn't accept.
Then you're in trouble.
Yeah, so.
Then you're in trouble.
Honestly, that's just kind of how I have to leave that conversation.
Yeah. And that's all it is.
Yeah.
That's all it is. That's the basis of the entire movement.
Sure.
You don't see yourself as strong. You see this, and what's so crazy about it is this image over here that you want to emulate.
Sure.
Even to the point of, we talked earlier about the guy he's gonna starve himself
into the ground.
Into the ground.
Yes. He sees
people will
image.
do extreme things if they feel threatened. They don't feel strong. And this image that the problem comes from, but basically
whatever Carl Jung was talking about.
Yes, whatever you this impression over here that you want to emulate, you're going to pay a heavy cost to emulate it.
Yes,
but you think
it's going to fix the problem.
You think it's going to fix the problem, but it isn't.
No,
it's just like people. That's why people who yo-yo diet. They lose weight, gaining back, lose weight, gaining back, because they think that what they're eating is the issue. They think because not enough exercise is the issue. And that's only a very small part. What's going on between the ears?
That's the biggest part of it.
That's the biggest part.
Yes.
Okay. That's what causes people to be extremely overweight and unable to lose weight, or unable to be a healthy. Let's just say a healthy weight.
I understand.
Okay. And it's what's going on between the ears. It's and so you have this element of society today that is emulating.
Well, I mean, for the longest time, people didn't want to live in reality, and then reality came knocking on their door.
Oh, it came knocking on the door in 2020.
So that's also part of this great reset or great hiccup, whatever it's going to be coined as. 100
years from now.
Exactly.
Some people, I have a different perspective. Some people think that it's some kind of dark motive that is taking place, and there's a part of me that believes that to a certain level. But there's also a part of me that says, you know what, we had this coming.
Sure, exactly.
Things have gotten so far out of hand.
Something was eventually going to happen.
Something was going to break.
Yeah.
You can only walk on ice for so long.
No, I get it.
Okay.
No, this is why I have coined whatever the powers that be to be. I think it's less. It is. I have a hard time wrapping my head around this 100% puppet master strings reaching back through untold generations and eons and so on and so forth. I think it's more of an opportunistic type of way. Because after all,
motivated from
whatever happens, they capitalize on what happens, because capitalizing on an opportunity is capitalism.
It's what they do.
And it's what they do.
Yeah, that's true. That's good. I like that.
Yeah. We are not living in a capitalist hellscape. It's a corporationism hellscape. No. Learn the fucking difference.
It wouldn't matter.
No, it wouldn't.
It wouldn't matter.
I'm just tired of people going into this whole. I'm just tired of people approaching me this whole like, I'm reading comments. It's late stage capitalism. It's corporationism. It's when a company has the ability to tell the lawmakers what to do, and that's the problem.
And nothing changes that.
It doesn't matter
what system of government you're involved in.
No.
Okay, you look at any country on this planet, and they have the exact same dynamic, regardless of whatever drives their community.
Speaking of, no matter where you go, it's completely the same.
Yeah.
I have finally come to peace.
Hallelujah.
With 1984.
Oh.
I have finally reached past the threshold of what that book is talking about.
Lay it on me.
Okay, my interpretation. Okay, this is my interpretation.
Yeah.
Now, there was a YouTube channel that popped out. I think it's called The Vile Eye, and they have this series called Analyzing Evil, where they take, initially it was villains, like serial killers and antagonists in different movies, and analyze them psychologically to see what makes them evil.
Right.
Yeah.
Son of Sam.
Yeah, Son of Sam, Patrick Bateman, Lecter. Oh, he did like 3 hours on Lecter because there was just a lot.
Sure.
And recently he is apparently started to take on more abstract concepts of evil.
Is that the video you sent me?
Yes.
Okay, I haven't got to it all the way yet.
Oh yeah. The first 60% of it is him reciting that one part of the book, which I'll get to in a moment.
Yeah.
So he does a video talking about, he's analyzing the evil of Ingsoc from 1984, the William Hurt movie, and the entity in the book. Yeah. So, without quoting the book, which is what this guy does, he reads the excerpt from the book, the theory. I think it's the book. It's the Goldstein book, the traitor Goldstein and his rebellion against the party.
Yeah.
The book, I believe, is called The Theory of Collective oligarchy collectivism or something like that.
Uh-huh.
And it basically, the excerpt we're told, because this book is longer than what was told to us, the reader.
Right.
But basically, long story short, that excerpt, when it was read out loud to me by the guy that made this video, something clicked. Because I had not heard it read to me in a long time. I think I asked you to do it when I was younger in high school. Like that one part, so that we could talk about it, because I didn't understand it when I was like 13, because school required summer reading got weird in the late 2010s. I'm not gonna lie. It's like, why am I 13 to 14 reading 1984? Oh, okay. Required summer reading. What the hell? Anyway, so... So what had happened was I finally understood what that part of the book was talking about. It clicked.
Yeah.
Two things I took away from it. This is the Goldstein excerpt from the book. This is what I took away from it. Number one, the system in power that is Oceania, Eurasia, Europa.
Right.
Essentially, because what they've done is because of the Ministry of Truth, they've ground history to a standstill. There is no past except for what the party says is the past. There's no future except what the party says is the future.
Right.
You can't, enemies change on the dime. They just create industry just to keep people busy. Everything people are creating, they make up to the bare minimum of what people need to survive and destroy the excess. This is just to keep people busy, spinning wheels like hamster. There is no criticism of the party. There is no art, no poetry, there's no advances in science beyond various weapons and torture methods. There is no language except newspeak, which they actively make possible to restrict thought.
Right.
So they're basically creating a future that is not just this super oppressive fascist, oligarchical, power grab, 3 separate nations of it. It's not just about the surveillance and the secret police and you can't trust anyone and yada, yada, yada. It ultimately, the book 1984 is essentially a snapshot into a world where humanity has killed its collective soul.
Oh, yeah.
That is the true horror of 1984, is they had, because no more art, no more music, except for this one, all is dedicated to this one concept, the party. That's it. Yeah. Nothing beyond, nothing less, nothing more, just that. A singular point. Yeah, it's one-dimensional.
You become a drone.
A drone. It is the death of this world's collective soul.
It is.
Essentially. And
yeah.
2. This is how I made peace with it. Now, I'm not speaking for the surveillance part or the fascism part. That is still part of our reality to this day in certain places of the world.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not talking about that part. But as far as that collective death of the soul, not gonna happen. I mean, let me rephrase that. Not gonna fucking happen. You want to know why?
It's not gonna last.
Yeah. Do you want to know why?
There may be an onset, but it won't last.
Yeah. But do you know why?
I'm interested in hearing what. Yeah.
Here's the thing. In that excerpt, that Goldstein book excerpt, in that book, it talks about the concept of black-white, doublethink, and Crime Stop, basically.
Yeah.
Crime Stop is almost like you're stopping yourself from thinking a thought that could get you arrested and killed from the thought police.
Right.
Doublethink is, I believe it is holding 2 contradicting concepts together in your head, accepting them both as true, and only use one versus the other depending on the context. For example, Oceania has always been at war with Europa, and then about halfway through the book, Oceania has always been at war with East Asia and allies with Europa.
Right.
Doublethink. That's Black and White. I can't exactly remember what Black and White was, but it had something similar to do with doublethink as well. So here's the thing: in that excerpt, in order to perpetuate this, what the book classifies as the low class of people, the mid class of people, and the high class of people, which do exist in our universe.
Right.
It says it would, in order to perpetuate this, to keep it going forever, like it is in the book 1984, all, like, everyone from the low to the high has to be engaged in this newspeak, doublethink, Crime Stop mentality. They have to, the high class has to restrict their own thoughts, their own feelings, their own emotions, and humanity in order to achieve this eternal perception of the party. And that is not possible, because if I know anything as a trainer, is human beings have a very big problem with self-control. To have a level of self-control and discipline to make everyone on equal plane, so to speak.
It's very interesting. To have that level of self-control means that let's say you have a group of people let's look at Japan's neighbors to their west.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you have a large group of people that you have culturally, socially shaped into a level of control.
Sure.
And they have developed a certain level of personal self-discipline.
Sure.
But that also makes them a threat.
Mm-hmm.
Because if they have the level of self-discipline to knuckle under to your
whim.
And they also have the self-discipline to overthrow you.
Correct.
And I think that's something that's different here in North America.
Where that's not quite
where
the case.
Where people don't have any self-discipline.
Exactly.
They're allowed. Vice and some vice is slavery.
Vice. That's basically
vice is slavery. Period.
Vice is what prevents
as
human beings.
Who is who has engaged in it as a proponent of it and a victim of it. Vice is slavery.
Yes.
It is.
I understand.
It really is.
That's what prevents us from going into a full-blown 1984 situation.
Oh, yeah.
Because somewhere, and even the book talks about it, talks about previous regimes where they had the people living under, they're grinded under the dictator's boot heel, while the dictator and their family lived lavishly.
Right.
Even the book talks about that won't last because sooner or later, those people are going to see how opulent you are and go, hey, what about us? And overthrow you.
That's what happened
to require
the Russian Tsar.
Yes.
And Arab Spring.
It's even happening in modern day. Look at Jeff Bezos and
exactly.
And Elon Musk, sorry, Papa Musk fans.
And
nothing.
No, I'm a fan of Musk.
Yeah, no, I get it.
But what is?
Yeah, but some people are not a fan of Papa Musk just because he's rich.
We're a couple of years away from that. I think basically what's happened is the structure has broken down where you can't keep people all happy because at any moment they can buy plenty of gas and drive through McDonald's drive-through.
Yeah,
I think that's changing.
Yeah.
And years from
it's going to make a difference.
People don't start revolutions.
No, they don't.
No, they don't. Okay.
No, I believe
when the food starts going away and everything starts to lean up.
That's when you're going to see.
That's when you're going to see.
Yeah.
That's when you're going to see big issues.
Yes. Oh, I know. Yeah. I know it's coming.
Yeah.
I'm just hoping by the time it gets there, we will be not here.
Well, we won't. We don't choose to live in a place
that has big issues like that.
That type of issue.
Correct. No, we're safe here. It's just if it starts getting ugly, I'd rather go to the mountains.
And that's where we're headed.
Yeah, I know. I know we are. So anyway,
and that's just a natural progression.
Oh, I get it.
We were heading there regardless.
Yeah, I figured. So. That's how I made my peace with 1984, because humanity is subject to vice like that.
It is.
Sooner or later, the world established in the book 1984, it's not sustainable here.
Right.
Not talking about all the people in multiverse. Not talking about that. It's not sustainable.
It isn't.
Because someone is going to engage in vice in the upper level, and it'll spread like a virus unless by some miracle they get everybody on board, just miraculously. Even a little bit.
They won't, because there are certain things that are taken. It's just like
there are certain
taking
parts
advantage of children. It is outside. It is literally outside of our humanity.
I know, but that's part of it. What we're experiencing is the excess. The 1984 is almost like the inverse. What's the opposite of excess? You know what I'm talking about? There's a word for that. Ascetic. Yeah, it's almost like if the ruling upper elite went to ascetic instead of excess. Instead of engaging,
that's always a possibility.
Yeah, instead of engaging in excess, 1984 is where they don't. They do the exact opposite.
Well, see, that's
they
the thing.
Restrict
that's what I was
excess.
talking about earlier. I mean, sometimes maybe what's happening is.
I know, it's okay.
I got some stuff.
Anyway.
I wonder. Is what's happening? Is it in other words, is it a natural progression? Is it a natural progression?
We're about to find out. Yeah, that's fine.
And the only way to, well, see, here's the thing, and I'm glad you have the mentality you have, because someone of your age, it'd be easy to slip into that. Oh, we're just and we're all gonna die.
It would be different if we had not learned to trade.
If we had,
it would be greatly different.
I understand that perspective, but what I'm saying is, and you're right. You're absolutely right. Because
yes,
there is a hope that comes, hopefulness that comes through increasing your abilities to provide better for yourself and your family.
I mean, after all,
and there's a certain nihilism that goes along with when you don't have those options.
Sure, of course.
So you have to spread that across the population.
Sure. I mean, of course, we have to do this because, well, we got the gift that keeps on giving, apparently. That's proof. That's proof of the pudding right there. We're meant to do this.
There's two perspectives, like what's taking place is a negative, and what's taking place is a positive. But if you take care of yourself, make good choices, then it really can't be a negative. It'd be like, we don't have the best. Well, the matriarch and I don't necessarily have a better gas efficient vehicle, although you do.
I'm happy I do.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that. I mean, we've made good decisions.
Yes.
Okay. And wise decisions. And so, as this scourge or whatever's taking place begins to pull
the recession
begins to pull a lot of people down. It won't take us down because we made good decisions. We've made good decisions. We've made positive. Let's just say positive.
We've made positive decisions. Yeah. Oh yeah. No, I'm glad all this happened in hindsight. Like all of it.
I mean, and
all of it.
If you look at it from the big picture, I mean, think about yourself. Think about you.
Yeah.
Bel-E. Think about yourself 20 years from now. And think about the wisdom and knowledge that you are gaining right now.
Oh, I know. Why do you think I keep talking about when I live to be basically a grandma, I'm going to be Gandalf, essentially.
Yeah.
The wise old woman in the woods smoking out of the pipe.
It's a wise old woman in the woods smoking out of the pipe.
Yeah. Why do you think I keep saying that? Because I want that to be.
Well, there you go.
My little, I guess, I don't want to live in a witch's hut.
Who wouldn't want to be Gandalf?
Yeah, I want to be Gandalf. I want to go hiking with my grandkids.
Everybody has,
Yeah.
Some people are.
Yeah, when I'm in my 80s and 90s, I still want to be able to hike to Mordor.
Yeah, who doesn't, pick the archetype.
Yeah, the archetype.
You want to be and be it.
Yeah, the wise old woman.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't want to be the wise old woman today. That's going to be the future.
That's going to be the future.
Yeah, it's going to be the future.
Yeah.
I don't see why not. So.
There you go.
Yeah, and apparently a wise old woman is a very powerful concept. I'm learning.
It's extremely powerful.
And it's very ancient.
Yes.
Just the concept of it. Yes, the wise old man, but the wise old woman is apparently different.
It is.
So,
to me, from my perspective, based on literary understanding, it's always, the wise old woman has always been more powerful than the wise old man.
Yeah, exactly.
There's this uniqueness to it.
Well, it has to come from the whole thing of, oh God, I'm gonna try to not use the super, new religion speak.
Okay.
Per se, because that's just how people talk now, apparently, which I find odd, but anyway. So, there does seem to be an aspect to, there has been, aspects to, women being shown as more magical.
Oh, yeah.
So that's also part of it. Because
magic.
Yeah.
Magic came from women.
Yeah, because a long time ago, you know, the act of birth was considered a miracle because no one knew what the fuck was happening.
Right.
Now, granted, nowadays we know the scientific reason why it's happening.
Yeah.
And that is neither good or bad knowledge. It's just an explanation of what's happening, but it doesn't change how special it is.
No.
You know?
Change how special it is.
No, and I'm not engaging in any of the stuff going on surrounding this concept. I'm not talking about that.
Right.
I'm just talking about the fact that doesn't change the fact that you just made a person. That's a person. That's going to be a person someday. That's a soul.
Yeah.
That's where that whole, that whole sorceress.
Yeah, you think Albert Einstein is special because he figured out how to split the atom to make a bomb.
He's special because he got here in the first place.
Women make a soul.
Yeah.
Oh, for crying out loud. That's wonderful. That's a great observation.
So I'm trying not to engage in that whole, the life essence.
Although it's true.
It is true. I'm just trying.
You just don't want to.
I just don't want to
light that Christmas tree up.
Yeah, not only that, but I do not want to go face first into that, the super. Unless I know what I'm talking about, I don't want to go face first into that whole spiritual hippy dippy Zen speak. You gotta arrange your chakras, man, or chakras, man. And I'm over here saying,
it's like a middle school play.
Yeah, basically. I don't want to sound like I don't know what I'm talking about.
No,
Does that make sense?
There is an element to it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a power that comes from it.
Yeah, no, there
is. I don't understand.
There is a grain of truth
tell you
to it.
Yeah, there is. And this is why I think there's an element in society that tries to basically hold down the feminine. Because
I'm certainly trying to get my hands on it.
The feminine is so powerful that the certain powers that they try to suppress it. That's what I think.
That does make sense because I've heard, people. A part of what led me into this is, and I'm trying to get my hands on it.
Yeah, and I don't mean all this hokey bullshit.
No, I don't mean. No, I'm not talking about the pure hokey bullshit. I'm just talking about the reasoning behind it. Now, we got to drift into the hokey bullshit just to have terminology.
You can't.
I can't not talk about it. I just don't.
Context.
Yeah, I just don't want it to sound like I'm faking it. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Man, fuck it.
Faking it.
One of my favorite movies of all time is Chocolate.
Oh yeah.
It's like 1999 or 2000. It's somewhere. It's in that 2-year gap. Some sites say it's one versus the other. Anyway. It is one of my favorite movies of all time. Not just because I love the cinematography and the acting and the score and the story. Not just that. Just very well done. Yeah. It is somehow a comedy and a drama at the same time, which often do not work, but this time I feel it struck a good balance, in my opinion.
Okay, yeah, you're right. I agree with that.
So...
It's not tongue-in-cheek at all.
And it's not tongue-in-cheek at all.
Yeah.
No, it's life.
Yeah, it's life.
That's how the movie feels. It feels like life.
Yeah.
There are some parts of life where you are on top of the world being successful, and there are some parts of life where you are not. You have to go through grief. Yep. It feels like life. Yep. Happening to all these different people.
Right.
And I appreciate the main character who, I will one day learn her name, Vienne, I believe.
Yeah.
Vienne, she quote unquote, and I say the antagonist because he's not a villain, the comte of the town, Reynard, I believe. The Reynard, he is the antagonist.
Some of the mayor?
The mayor, yes.
Oh, yeah, the guy that played Doc Ock in Spider-Man.
Yes, I love him. He's a great actor.
He is great.
So... the mayor, he is the antagonist, but he's not a villain. He doesn't do anything villainous, per se.
No, when he has the opportunity to make the right
decision.
When he sees something that is out of bounds, he addresses it.
Oh, big time. Yeah. No, because if he was a villain, that would not have happened.
That would not happen.
No.
Correct.
Yeah. Yeah. This is very much, he's very much in the spirit of the letter of the law versus the spirit of the law.
Right.
In some cases. Now, out of bounds. He does call it.
Yeah.
But for the most part, he's very much against the Vienne opening her chocolate shop because it was like during Lent, she wears red, she's different, she doesn't fall in line. They even talk about that in the opening narration, how before she and her daughter came, everyone fell in line. It's, we're all little, workers and, going to church on time and running our business and so on and so forth. And she comes in and completely breaks the mold and brings fun and life back to the town. She does it not with a sword, not with powerful magic, with chocolate, which is
powerful magic, so to speak.
Her magic is chocolate.
Her spell casting is chocolate.
Her magic is the power of chocolate.
Right.
Which is a potion. It's also feminine.
Yes.
She saves the day by using her feminine power.
Yes, I agree with that.
Because it's a very masculine power to go and kill somebody.
Right.
I'm not saying that's wrong. It has its place. It's just different.
It's different.
And sometimes there are points in your life when you need to use the sword and when you need to use the chocolate.
Okay.
The feminine versus the masculine.
Right.
Whatever form that takes. You see, like in mindset and whatnot.
Right.
Context.
Right.
But I have seen that movie used as a example of how to define both the masculine and the feminine.
Sure.
This, oh Lord, I cannot remember this person's name, but basically they said that the main character, she's obviously the feminine, who is a creative force that moves, it pulses, it changes.
Yeah, it's dynamic.
It's dynamic. They likened femininity to almost like not a raging storm, but like a strong blowing wind. It picks up, It picks things up, plays with it, it swirls, it circles, it goes where it wants. It roams, it is free to do as it pleases, to have fun, to be.
To not be contained.
But to not be contained.
Fun is a word we attach to it.
Sure. Yeah. And the example of, and that's literally the main character. She comes in via the north wind because that's what her people have done for generations.
Right.
Is the north wind comes and they follow it to the next generation, dispensing chocolate remedies and whatnot. That's literally the story. So the person also likened the masculine as more of almost think of it as the eye of the storm, like the center point to hold the wind in a spot, to make sure it doesn't get out of control.
Yeah.
The inverse.
Well, that's what balance is.
That's what balance is.
Yeah.
So that was how I kind of figured out some key differences, essentially.
Yeah. That's the goal of the masculine and the feminine.
Mm-hmm.
Is to balance.
To balance.
Yin and yang.
Yeah. Exactly. So that helped bring some definition and examples into the equation.
Sure.
So, but because that VN, or the feminine, is described as words as free roaming, creative, a force, untamable at times. Think about it. If you are of a more steady mind, if you are more in that masculine, gotta, stay rigid, stoic, lockstep. Not in a negative way, just in a certain type of way.
The thing about that level of masculine is you're
if you just hear the words uncontrollable is not positive. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So that might be part of what has caused this suppression.
Then there's a certain level of, that masculine that you're a hostage.
Exactly.
To the situation.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want that freedom.
Yeah.
That's why you ultimately will relent to it.
Exactly.
So.
That's my phone. Okay. But that's what I mean about balance.
Yeah.
And that's what I mean by, since the feminine is often described as more of a force, rather than something that can be reasoned with, hence the whole suppression. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because if you're not in that spirit, it can seem out of control.
And if you don't.
I mean, wars were started over women.
All wars are started over women. Civilization.
So I mean.
Resources.
Yeah.
It's for who? For the family.
Exactly. See what I mean?
Yeah.
It's basically another extension of.
Well, here's the thing: if you allow, I think in the past,
sure,
I think the masculine was allowed to run unchecked, and it caused problems. I think there's a possibility that right now the feminine is being allowed to run unchecked, and it's causing a problem.
Just needs to be brought into balance.
Just needs to be brought into balance.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's going to happen sooner or later.
And things always balance out.
Indeed.
Whether in our lifetime or the next one, it
sooner
always,
or later.
Sooner or later, it always balances out because it has to.
Indeed.
Because if one becomes one becomes so dominant,
it just causes problems.
It just causes problems.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Light cannot exist without dark. That's how you define both.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Oneness is not the same as sameness.
No, it's not.
Yeah, that's the difference. So, I'm hungry.
All right.
You got anything else?
We've left enough mindfulness for everybody.
Yeah, I know. So,
take that.
There you go.
Get a headache.
Fair enough. All right. That's it, folks. I was your host, Bel-E.
And I was your co-host, Mr. Scratch.
And we'll see you guys next Tuesday.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.